Hey guys, Jack here, bringing you some more Battlefield 4 footage live from the show floor of E3. So last week I went to E3 and I was given the opportunity to play and record Battlefield 4. The footage you're seeing now is me playing and was recorded by me. I was allowed to play for about an hour in total and record. I also got 2 play sessions which I wasn't allowed to record, so in total I've played about 2 hours of Battlefield 4. So I think I've got a pretty good idea of what it's like, all the new additions, and I'm going to address some of those in this video. Now remember, this is pre-alpha, so a lot of it is subject to change. I spoke to a lot of the DICE developers that were there and they said, this is very much a work in progress project. They update the game every couple of days, they play test it and they change things. They're changing a lot of things all the time, so everything that you see in the Battlefield 4 footage that's coming out, a lot of it could change before release and a lot of it could stay the same. So take everything with a pinch of salt because it might not always be this way. So I thought I'd start off with counter-knifing because this is something that a lot of people are discussing at the moment, and I'm going to tell you my experiences of it from playing the game and also what some developers have told me about counter-knifing, how it works and all that jazz. First off, I'm just going to roll this clip. Just look at this knife animation. How sweet was that? Just bam, punch in the head, knife in the chest, give me those tags and I'm out of there. It's just so cool. There's loads more knife animations in the game now. It's very impressive. They're very fluid as well. So when I showed that footage in my montage yesterday, which you should totally go and check out by the way, a lot of people said, OMG, that looks like you countered a counter knife. So I've gone to knife him, he's countered me, and then I've countered again and ended up getting the kill. That is not the case. That is just the frontal knife animation. That's what it looks like. I was told by several developers that you cannot counter a counter knife. Otherwise, you could just get stuck in this endless loop of counter, counter, counter. It'd look really stupid and it'd be like a scene from The Matrix where Morpheus and Neo are fighting, just blocking each other. It would be ridiculous, right? You can't counter a counter knife. I spoke to several developers about this as well, just to confirm it. You cannot counter a counter knife. As of yet, that is not happening in the game. This is the way it works. I walk up to a person, I start the knife animation, they always have a chance to counter it no matter which direction I come from. If I come from the front, the side, the back, the person that's getting stabbed always has a chance to counter knife. The time period that you get to press F and initiate a counter knife is exactly 1 second. I've counted the frames. This footage was recorded at 30 frames per second. I've gone through frame by frame. That is exactly 1 second when the counter knife option comes up. Is that too much? Is that not enough? Me personally, I think that's a bit too much, especially seeing as you have the notification on your screen saying counter knife, hit F. Because when you've played the game some more, you're going to get very used to, as soon as you feel the animation starting to play, you can just hit F or you can bind it to like a button on your mouse and you're very easily going to be able to counter knife someone. So if you're good at the game, you're never going to get knifed basically. Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. Do you think maybe the time that you get to counter knife should be reduced to like 0.5 of a second? Do you think it should remain at 1 second but just remove the notification that says hit F to counter knife? I don't know, like me personally, like I said, I do think 1 second is a bit too much for the counter knife, and it is subject to change though, so I'm sure they'll do lots of internal testing and the alpha testers and the beta testers will give their feedback and they'll come to a nice figure for the time period that you get to counter knife someone. But yes, you can initiate a counter knife when you're prone on the floor and you're being knifed. As you can see here, I go on this little kill streak and I'm prone at the moment. The guy comes up behind me, goes to knife me, I get the option to counter knife for exactly 1 second. So he's behind me, I'm lying down, you always get the option to counter knife. It doesn't matter where the character is, you can always do it. I'm going to roll some footage now. I bet you've never seen a in the water counter knife before. The animation doesn't really work out as it should do. Obviously I end up like removing the magazine from the guy's gun like I really wanted it and it's all over the place, but yeah, check this out. So as you may know, the swimming mechanics in the game are a bit different now. You get a pistol that you can use. You can't aim down the sight, you can just hip fire it. But it looks like you can also knife in the water. Now on this particular occasion, I don't have any ammo in my pistol, so I thought I'd just swim up to him and just go for a knife kill. So he obviously has the same idea. He goes for the knife kill on me, but I react quick enough to counter knife it in the water, and then everything gets real. Bodies start turning inside each other, and I really want the guy's magazine. So yep, I'll take that. Thanks for the dog tags. It's really messed up, but made me laugh at the time. It actually made me laugh out loud because it was just so ridiculous. Obviously there's some things that have to be worked out there. I don't know if they're going to leave knife combat in the game for the final release when you're in water, because obviously something went wrong there, but it makes sense to be able to use your knife in the water. Probably a lot more sense than a pistol, actually, but yeah, we'll see what they do with that. I thought that was quite funny. Anyways, I also wanted to show you the flashbangs in the game because I've not really seen any high quality footage of these. So flashbangs have been added to the game. As a Counter-Strike player at heart, that is awesome news to me. I love throwing a flashbang, bouncing it off a doorway and then just clearing a room out. That's brilliant, and it's going to be super cool in Battlefield 4. And at the moment, this is how they've got the mechanic working. So I throw the flashbang at the ground, and on purpose, obviously, I look directly at it to see the maximum effect of a flashbang. So you see the screen turns nearly completely white and fills up, and it's very hard to see. You get like a sort of blurry suppression effect to the outsides of the screen, and your sound goes all weird. So that's what a flashbang does in real life. It disorientates you, and I guess that's DICE's way of mimicking that in a video game. Definitely enough to throw you off guard. If you're holding a position waiting for someone to come in the door and someone just rolls a flashbang in and it gets you, you're going to have a bad time basically. That guy is probably going to be able to go into the room and kill you, even though you've got a better angle on him and you're ready to kill him. So I think particularly in the infantry maps, we're going to see flashbangers playing quite a big part. So I also wanted to check out what the flashbang effect was like if you sort of turn away from it. So as you know, in a game like Counter-Strike, if you turn away from it, you still get flashed a little bit, but the effect isn't as pronounced. So I throw the flash down, I'm turning away, and you see that the screen goes white a little bit, and the sound isn't as diminished as it was when you look directly at it. So some sort of side effects there if you're not directly looking at the flashbang, which is probably a good way of doing it. Counter-Strike has done it like that for years, and it works quite well. I also want to show you guys the incendiary grenades. So this is sort of like a slow burning Molotov cocktail style grenade. You throw it at the ground, it looks crazy, and it sort of has like an AoE damage effect for a few seconds and then just disappears. It doesn't seem to explode or anything. It just sort of like sets the area on fire and then disappears, and then that's that. These things don't kill you instantly, so if you're affected by the damage and you jump away, you're probably not going to die. But if you stay in it for like a second or two, then yes, you are going to die. And I guess the purpose of these things is to stop rushes. So you're defending somewhere and you see that there's a 5-man squad coming towards you. You throw an incendiary down to block a doorway and they can't really get in, so they've got to wait, which gives you more time to prepare or throw a grenade in there or something. So that seems to be the purpose of the incendiary grenades. Also, check this out, C4, which of course the Recon class now gets. The support no longer have C4. Recon class gets C4, instead support get this weird grenade launcher thing, which I'll cover in another video. But look at this, you can slide C4 and throw it a bit further now. So here's me just testing how far you can slide it. All of a sudden a jeep comes along and just runs right over the top of the C4. I don't kill it of course and I end up getting killed, but I do get the vehicle hit on it. So you can slide C4 now. It doesn't slide that far, but it slides far enough so that, say for example, you hide in on one side of the street and a tank or jeep is bombing it down the other side of the street, you stay in cover, you just slide it across the street and it's basically going to meet him. So it just gives the recon players a bit more versatility with C4. You don't have to get right up to a vehicle to put C4 on it like you do in BF3. You've basically got to run up to a tank, jump up and down like a crazy person, stick C4 on it and hope you don't get killed, run away and then detonate it. That's no longer going to be the case. Because you can throw C4 a bit further, you're going to be able to sort of hide in the shadows a bit and chuck a couple of C4 out, blow them up, get a kill and then move away again. So I think we're definitely going to see the Recon class get played a lot more now. One last thing I wanted to cover in this particular video before I go away, zeroing on the scopes. So they've added zeroing on the sniper rifle scopes. If you don't know what this is, basically you can dial the sights in, on the rifle, so shooting at long ranges is much easier. Instead of having to aim the crosshair above someone, you can zero to the distance that they are away from you, and then just put the middle of the crosshair on their head, and you're probably going to get a kill because you've zeroed it. So here's an example of that now. When you've got a scoped sniper rifle, you just press V on the keyboard and that cycles through the distances. So it goes up to 1,000 meters from what I can tell on this scope. It could be more for the 20 times scope. I didn't get to check that out, so maybe that's the case. But as you can see, when I'm 0 to 1,000 meters and I'm hitting something that's only like 300 meters away from me, the bullet goes above the target. So if that building was 1,000 meters away, it would probably hit bang on in the center of the target, or near enough, you know, if you account for like bullet drop, which obviously Battlefield 4 has. So this is going to make long range sniping a lot easier, I think, in BF4 than it is in BF3. When you're at those extreme distances in BF3, you end up just like being completely off the crosshair. You know, you've got the mil dots and you're like in the black bit at the bottom. You can't see what's going on if you're 1,000 meters away from someone as a recon, so it's quite hard to get a kill. But now that they've got that zeroing in there, maybe those long range sniper shots are going to be much easier to pull off. Quite an interesting aspect really to add to the game. I didn't think that DICE would put something like this in BF4 because it's much more of a arcade shooter. You know, you normally see this in very realistic military shooters like Arma 2. It's also in DayZ, of course, where you've got to zero the sights on some of the sniper rifles. So it's quite interesting really, and intriguing that they've put this in the game. That's all I'm going to cover in today's video. I've got loads more BF4 footage to talk about, the changes with the class, the significant improvements to the UI. The UI is brilliant now. Trust me, it is perfect. It's what we needed in BF3, and I'm loving it. Like, everything about this game, it was buggy, it was pre-alpha. I was playing on a mouse that had a very strange sensitivity. I play with a very low sensitivity at home. My normal sensitivity is about 2 big swipes of my mouse and I'll do a 360, so I have a very low sensitivity. But the mice that we were using at the BF4 computers had an insane DPI and the sensitivity was just crazy. So you're going to see me like overcompensate and undercompensate on targets a lot because my muscle memory is dialed in for a very low sensitivity. Also, we had a teeny tiny mouse mat to play on as well, whereas I play on like a QCK Heavy, which is nearly 2 feet wide. So it was a big difference. Obviously playing on a new keyboard as well, playing at 30 FPS and recording with fraps. But with all that said and all the bugs, BF4 is great. I had a lot of fun playing this game, and I was quite sad when the session stopped and I had to stop playing because I wanted to play more. It feels nice. It's what BF3 should have been, plus a load of significant improvements to the game which make sense and they make the game better. BF4 is going to be an epic game, guys. Trust me, it will be amazing. That's all for today's video though, guys. Like I said, plenty more BF4 content on the way. Leave me a like and a rating if you enjoyed this video. Share it around with your friends if they need some BF4 information. Send them this way. Hopefully my channel will cover all that for you. Hope you're having a nice start of the week. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.